everyone, and welcome back to So Biased. On this week's project, we are going to be tackling a history-bounding, Disney-bounding 1940s dress. And who is this character, you ask? I wonder. You gotta get it is Sleeping Beauty! I love Sleeping Beauty. Since I was a little kid, this is one of my favorite Disney movies, particularly the medieval aesthetic of all of the backgrounds and trees and how they look like they're out of a 1,000-year-old painting. I absolutely loved it. I love the kind of squariness of it. And I am totally on Team Blue for the dress. If you're on Team Pink, I don't even want to hear it because you're wrong, because it's Team Blue. So rather than taking on the gigantic ball gown because I would not wear that anywhere, I decided to go for the Briar Rose outfit. Now in the movie, when she is disguised and in the forest and doesn't know she's a princess yet, she wears this beautiful gown which kind of looks like a blouse and a skirt with some kind of corset or corset belt in the middle. This movie has a very like 1950s feel with the full skirt and the kind of corset belt. It is very much not medieval, but I don't care because it's beautiful. And I thought the Briar Rose dress would work really well as in a 1940s style because they're kind of similar, and the 40s were when those kind of like knee-length dresses started becoming a thing. Before that, knee-length dresses were not a thing for most of history until the 1920s got into like the flapper skirts, and then from then on short dresses were actually okay. If you remember my reproduction of the dress from It's a Wonderful Life, I will link up here. I used the Victory dress pattern from Wearing History to make that, and that one is fairly unique because it has a front piece that has kind of wide shoulder pieces and then comes down into a v-neck in the front. I'm a sucker for a v-neck, what can I say? And I thought that that would be such a cute way to do that kind of cutout corset thing. So do this part in the gray and then the bodice pieces in the black, so it looked like the corset and then the gray skirt. I had to make a couple alterations to the pattern in order to get those beautiful kind of poofy flowing sleeves happening. And I didn't go for the corset lacing in the front because I couldn't think of a way to do that that would look not weird. If you have any suggestions for that, let me know in the comments. I will put a link to the pattern I used in the description below if you want to take a crack at it. But until then, let's get sewing! These are the fabrics I am going to use for the Sleeping Beauty dress, well, the Briar Rose dress. And these are kind of in order from top to bottom. So the top is this kind of off-white. See it against actual white, you can see that it's a better idea of the color. It's this off-white, grayish, creamy kind of thing. This is going to be the upper bodice and that V cut down the center. And then the center is that corsety kind of looking thing. So I'm going to do the lower bodice in the black as well as the belt for the skirt. And then the skirt itself is this gray. And these are stretch knits. They're a two-way stretch bamboo viscose. Now you're probably asking yourself, why stretch knits for this? I mean, number one is because I want something lightweight for summer, and these are like super breathable and lovely. And number two, obviously, because I hate myself. And we'll see how much complaining I do about doing stretch knits as we go along with this project, because there will be a lot. Okay, so this gives you a better idea of what I'm doing with the bodice. The center panel is a single piece, so you have these kind of shoulders and then this v-neck front. I'm not sure if you can see here that this is actually a v-neck because it's sitting on the back. And then these bust panels have the gathering at the top, which is very, very 1940s, and then gathering at the bottom, which is going to attach to the belt. And then I did the same thing on the back. The back is just supposed to be one piece, but I just cut it into two pieces so we could have that kind of off-white color on both sides. And so I just cut it into two pieces and then sewed the top to the bottom, and then sewed the shoulder seams together and the side seams together. Next up is the skirt. The skirt is this dark gray color, and there's two front panels, two back panels, and you just sew the two front panels together, two back panels together, and join them at the sides, which is pretty straightforward. because it's a skirt. So this is another change I made to the pattern. Is these are the sleeves, and normally they start tapering, you know, like a normal sleeve does. But if you look at the actual garment, she has these beautiful billowy sleeves. So in order to do that, I just cut it straight down, like from the arm side down. I just did a straight line rather than any taper at all. And then there's gathering threads up at the top, and so this is going to be gathered here and attached to the garment, which I already did. So this is the shoulder here, and so I pulled the gathering threads. I'm going to pull these out because it's already attached. And I pulled up the gathering threads and attached it into the arm side, and it gives it this nice poofiness, which normally I don't like, but is super appropriate for this particular style. And then I'm going to add a cuff. I'm going to gather this as well, and I'm going to add a cuff to it because in the original one, it's about like a 3/4 length. So this is a full length sleeve, and then with the cuff, you can pull it up, which will give it more of that kind of shapy, billowy floatiness, which is what we want. So I'm going to attach the other sleeve and attach the waist belt, which is just a simple black waist belt that attaches to the top of the bodice, or sorry, attaches to the bottom of the bodice because it's a waist belt. Why would it go to the top of the bodice? I'm a dummy. All right, we are almost finished here. Some changes I ended up having to make. I made the V a lot deeper just because I'm tall and I wanted a deeper V. So I cut that a little deeper and then just hemmed around the edges. I did a little rolled hem because it's stretch fabric and I'm lazy, and that way I don't have to finish the edges. And these billowy sleeves turned out great. So it's this long full sleeve all the way down until you get to the cuff, and that way it holds it all in. The gathering stitch turned out really nicely there. Also, because it is a stretch fabric, I didn't have to do any kind of closure. Normally this one has a side closure, but I can get this over my head, so I just sewed it all shut, which is great. However, it ended up not fitting really well on the sides. And I think that's partially because it's a stretch fabric. And so I ended up just pinning it at the sides and taking it in quite a bit. Oh, ignore that. I'll fix that. So I just pinned it at the sides and took it in so it would fit a little closer. I'm still not entirely happy with the fit. I may take it in again, but you get the really cute front kind of corsety thing. I decided against doing any laces or anything that looks like laces because I couldn't think of a way to do it where it didn't look weird or contrived. So next up, I'm going to hem this. It's quite long because of the drapiness of this fabric, so I'm going to take off about 1 inch or 2 and then hem the bottom. And you can see the waist belt and the gathering stitches went in really nicely. And that is the skirt. And that is the Briar Rose dress. I am so happy with the way it turned out. The little basket purse that I used is actually something I bought a while ago. It's a real vintage purse, and they used to use these little wicker baskets as purses, and I thought that would be the perfect accessory for Princess in the Woods. So if you like what you saw here, please feel free to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can get notifications every time I upload. It really helps my channel out the more that you interact with the video. So likes, comments, everything like that helps the algorithm to pick up my videos, so anything you can do is greatly appreciated. Leave me a comment below if you enjoyed it, if you have any questions, if you want to know anything about future projects, if you're working on a project yourself. I would love to hear about it, and everybody in the comments has been so lovely. Until then, I hope you all stay happy and healthy, take care of each other, and we'll see you all soon. Bye! And I thought that the Briar Rose... Blah, blah, blah. Okay, you're gonna go lie down. Or you're just gonna bark at the neighbor dogs. People are allowed to exist, Mina. They can walk by the house.